The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Hello and welcome to the September edition of the Tinley Chamber Spotlight Show. My name's Maureen Cipolla and I'm your host. We've got a great show in store for you today, but before we get started, folks, another big event right around the corner. It is the Chamber Oktoberfest, and it will be held on September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. More to come. But before we get started, I'm so excited I'd like to present Mr. Jim Fuentes, longtime chamber member, no stranger to Tinley Park, but like to welcome him to the show.
I'm honored. Look who's talking. I always watch you guys, and I love your show, and you guys are doing a super job with the community, so it's a win-win here, so I'm just honored to be here. It only took me 30 years, but here I am.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.
And for our viewers that don't know Jim is from State Farm, and I'm going to let him tell us his story about his business.
Well, it's not only my business. It's ironic that when I first started in this particular business, I had no inclination to be a State Farm agent. So the students out there that are listening and people that say, in life I want to grow up to be such and such, it doesn't necessarily work like that. First of all, I was a teacher, a high school teacher. I taught a program called Health Occupations. It was like an allied health pre-med curriculum at TF North and South high schools in Calumet City, Illinois, and Tinley, and Lansing, Illinois.
Nice.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I was the high school head wrestling coach, football, and track coach prior to even walking into Tinley Park. And ironically, I did very well. I worked night and day. I was also a paramedic and had no intention of going into insurance. 12 of my friends, former teachers, became State Farm agents.
Aha.
And they said to me, Jim, you're a workaholic, which I always was because I worked night and day, and you would be an ideal insurance agent. I said, insurance? No way. Here I am 30 years later, but I didn't realize, Maureen, it's about people, and it's about education. And that's what I do as an agent and as an individual in this community. I teach, I educate, and I let people know that certain times in their policies, they don't realize their coverages may be not what it should be. They have state minimum requirements, et cetera. So my job in my office is to give what we call positively outrageous service, promising a lot and delivering even more. That's my motto.
Jim, I can, you just exude with passion, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
And I can certainly see how that segue from teaching goes into those relationships with your customers at State Farm. So not only that, I know that's keeping you very, very busy, and you're involved in a few other things in town here in Tinley.
And Amy, before I start, though, I want to let you know, because I love your show so much, you know what? I'm one of your biggest fans. So I'm going to give you one of my fans.
Thanks, Jim.
So you can show the audience out there. And if they see me walking up and down the Midway and Oak Park Avenue, it's because, believe it or not, that's my baby. You know that because what did I do? I started the Oak Park Avenue Main Street Association, which was known as OPMA. And even before that, I had no inclination even to have that organization start. But we felt the downtown needed some extra little push at the time. Our facades were falling apart. Our community needed some marketing. So the team, the merchants, came up with this idea to said, let's work on bringing events to the downtown.
Excellent.
So that's the other shoe that I wear. It's not about insurance. It's mainly about giving back to the community. So we started the first ever block party. To those folks out there that don't know that, we started the first ever parades, such as what parades?
Oh, we have several parades. The
parades do we
Irish,
have?
the Winter
Right,
Parade.
the Irish Parade. When we first started, they said, Irish Parade. Are you crazy? What do we have? 30,000 people out there. How about the block party? 25,000 people. And all the other events throughout the year. Pictures with Santa, Easter Bunny. Those are all kind of my babies. Even a little Halloween.
Boo Bash.
Yes. Started out as a walk on Oak Park Avenue to the old Central School.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, when there was a Central School there.
Right.
So am I dating myself? Yeah, just a little.
So how many years, Jim, you got to tell our audience?
What's that? How many years was that? That
Yes.
was almost 20 years ago.
Oh, my
I can't
goodness.
believe time flies by when you're having fun.
That's right.
But what's great about it is the village embraced this. And that's what makes our community so great. And I bleed Tinley. As a matter of
sure
fact,
do.
I bleed it so much. When I pulled in, what kind of car do I have?
Oh, Jim had a beautiful convertible all suited up for
My Mercedes. I took my old 450 SL and I put, what's our new brand?
Oh, we have a big brand of
We have a
music.
new brand called Life Amplified.
Yes.
If you go out and see my car, you go down Oak Park Avenue, it's Life Amplified because Tinley is now going to build, hopefully someday, what? Our gorgeous plaza.
That's right.
And God willing, our new regime, the new mayor, Vandenberg, all the team, finally gets something going in the downtown. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, that's part of my dream. Not just State Farm. It's about building those things in the community. There are agents that are insurance agents, but my life is revolved around the community.
It sure is.
It really is. And so it's kind of neat to see all these things come to fruition, but more importantly, continue on.
That's right.
So.
And let's talk a little bit more about, some of those future plans, Jim.
Oh, yeah. Such as you mean the plaza? Or,
Sure,
okay,
or
yeah.
even how
Well, the
you're...
plaza isn't yet, completely finalized, but we have Lakota Group, if you've read about it or seen it in the paper. I'm back in the commission, by the way, for those folks that don't know that. I'm back in the commission. I'm very involved with the community again, so you'll be hearing more and more about this. And God willing, our South Street project, which constantly, I've got video, by the way, from all the times, by the way. I did television, too, you know that.
Yes,
For 20
yes,
years,
I do.
Comcast. It's kind of scary. But hopefully that'll get going. And then the whole Central School. We have a lot of things on the dais.
In the hopper.
God
in
willing,
the
it'll
hopper.
all come to fruition.
And so the business, the State Farm business, which is in the heart of it,
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that. How big's your team?
Oh, believe it or not, I go from 13 people to 6 people.
Okay.
And believe it or not, State Farm is the #1, I don't know if you know that, auto and homeowner insurer in America. And we've been voted 22 years in a row by the South Town, or, the South Town, yeah. And this is by the people.
Yes.
That we are been #1 doing the right things for people, giving them good service. Writing that check, God forbid, if something happens to somebody's family. We were just talking a little bit about how people can get in car accidents and
Right.
being a former paramedic. I used to live that side of the fence. Now as an agent, all I do, unfortunately, is I write checks. But Maureen, I can't bring you back. So it's very important, folks, that you sit down, review your policies with your agent, whether it's me or any agent.
Sure.
Go over it because, God forbid, the world we live in is a very litigious
Right.
world.
And insurance is certainly essential.
Well, it's a necessary evil. Well, that's true. You don't want to have it, but
Right.
what happens for those
If you don't.
For those who work for the American dream, you got to protect it. For the ones that doesn't care out there, they drive around. And believe it or not, 1 in 4 cars are not insured.
Are uninsured.
Uninsured, folks.
Unbelievable.
So you better check your UNW, what's called uninsured underinsurance. And those minimums better be 100, 300. Otherwise, you're going to go to your own personal family. And if you don't have a good policy, you're in trouble. So go back, review that. And the young kids out there, I hope they're good drivers, get good grades, right? We always want to see them. Back to my education.
Yes.
Another day, another A. Those people get a better rate with us.
They sure do.
So we get multi-line, multi-policy, all kind of good discounts.
Okay.
And my team, our goal is to constantly review and have great relationships. So when you come and see my team, Marge's been with me 30 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Marge Olson, wave to her. She's been in town. Judy Rayner, 30 years. Mike Slauson, 12 years.
Oh, my God.
I can go right down the line. And I have students that I train and give them jobs in the summer.
Interns. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they want to make some money. Always want to see kids learn to work because that work ethic, in my opinion, is so important for the kids.
Yes, it is.
And you have a young daughter.
I do. I do.
And by the way, it's great what you do. God bless you and Colleen.
Oh, thank you.
And your oncology project. That was a full thing. We worked together. Remember
Yes,
that?
yes.
Colleen Kissel, who's Treasure Chest.
Yes,
I'll throw the shout out to her.
Absolutely.
But these things all go on in our community. And this is kind of individual that, to me, it's not about insurance per se.
Yes.
It's about living this kind of life. And I've been blessed to live the American dream.
That's wonderful, Jim. Believe it or not, we are
Oh,
just going to be
I
wrapping
know.
up soon. But to our viewers, to find out more about State Farm and Jim Fuentes, you can reach the tinleychamber.org website or call us at 708-532-5700. Jim, do you have a parting message for our audience? It's been great to have you on the show. We thank you for your contributions.
Well, the parting message would be go and see your agent, review your policies, and it's not about price, it's about value.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, I'd like to welcome my next guest, Sonia D. Coleman, PC, attorney at law. Sonia, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's an honor to be here.
We're really happy to have you. I know you're a brand new member to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, I am.
And we're so happy, first of all, to have you as part of the Chamber, but let's talk a little bit about what brought you here and about your business. So it's the law office of Sonia D. Coleman. Tell us about that.
Sure. Well, I've been an attorney for more than 20 years, Maureen, and I started off working in small law firms and then started to work for small to major corporations. So my firm drafts wills, trusts, powers of attorney. I represent clients in probate court and real estate closings. I also negotiate and draft residential and commercial real estate leases. And I help clients with unemployment benefits, discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. And I advise business clients on selecting the appropriate corporate entity.
Wow. So you really have a great background, it sounds like, and a lot of specialty in your law. But let's talk about your background and how did you choose law as your area of expertise?
Well, I originally wanted to become a criminal defense attorney because of my major in psychology, and I thought I could use that knowledge to help me to better understand the minds of criminals. But quickly after I came to law school, I discovered that I enjoyed civil law much better. However, I remain a devoted fan of criminal authors such as James Patterson.
Okay, okay. So originally got started psychology and that brought you into the area of law, and you do a little bit more family law, is that right?
Well, not exactly. I do more estate planning, real estate, probate, employment law, and corporate law.
Okay, okay. So let's dig in a little bit about some of that real estate, or do you have an area that you, a favorite area that you like to specialize in, or?
I do. I really have a passion for estate planning because I think it's so important for families to plan for their future. But I think the challenge with estate planning is really understanding what estate planning is. It's really about marshaling in all of your assets and determining how you're going to distribute those assets to your heirs and beneficiaries so that you can better prepare for your future. But estate planning is not just about death. It is also about improving your life and the lives of your heirs and beneficiaries through proper planning. I think it's so important to have those proper documents in place, like your powers of attorney for health, powers of attorney for property, your wills and your trusts, so that you can be better prepared for your future.
That's great. Being in the mortgage or real estate field myself, I often have clients that do have property in trust, or they perhaps ask questions about that. You know, let's talk a little bit about the age group, because I don't really, I think there's, to your point, it's not necessarily about planning the end, it's planning the future and the steps that you have through life. So is there any recommendations or information that we can share with our audience about that?
Absolutely. I think it's particularly important for parents to make sure they have guardians in place for their children, guardians for the estate and guardians for their children in place, because minors cannot inherit anything. And I think many people don't realize the importance of that. Also for seniors, powers of attorney for health may be particularly important, powers of attorney for property, so that you can have someone ready if they need to make financial decisions on your behalf, if at any time you are incapacitated.
Yes, and it's really key. It's important. What's the process like? How does one prepare, I guess, to meet with you? Is there a series of documents that they need to have in order for your appointment?
Well, what I usually advise is I provide a goals checklist for
Okay,
clients
perfect.
so that I can understand what their goals are and why they want to do estate planning. And then I do provide forms for them to complete so that I have an understanding of what their assets are.
Okay.
So that's really the first step in estate planning.
Sure, sure. So just kind of a series of bullet points and how to get ready for that.
Exactly.
Okay, good, good. So with that, you know, a little bit about your background. I know your office is in Orland Park.
Yes, that's
and,
correct.
And where were you born and raised?
Well, I was actually born in Chicago and lived here for about 8 years, and then I was raised in Peoria. I attended undergrad at Howard University in Washington, D.C., and as I said earlier, I majored in psychology. The plan was to become a psychologist, but then I became enamored with the law, so I decided to become an attorney. I attended Loyola University here in Chicago.
In Chicago,
and
yes.
so I've been here ever since.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you kind of went a little bit of a full circle, if you will, and growing your business here, part of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
To find out more about the law offices of Sonia D. Coleman, you could reach the Chamber office by calling us at 708-532-5700. So let's talk a little bit about more plans for the future too, Sonia.
Yes, I'm so excited to share that I was recently certified. My business was recently certified as a minority and women-owned enterprise by the city of Chicago. So
Congratulations.
The plan, thank you. So the plan is to obtain those same certifications with Cook County and with the state so that I can provide legal services to those entities. And my overall goal is to grow my firm so I can hire members of the community.
Oh, that's excellent. And we had met at another event, the Veterans Action Committee and Roundtable. So let's talk a little bit some of those other things like outside that you do and give back to the community.
Absolutely. I'm very passionate about helping the veterans because they provide services to us and have made sacrifices so that we can enjoy some of the benefits that we take advantage of or take for granted on a day-to-day basis. So being a part of the Veterans Action Committee, I really hope to educate veterans and members of the community about some of the things that veterans do and how we can help them.
That's fantastic. And I know also, you had mentioned earlier, not only that realm, but employment law.
Yes.
Is there anything that you'd like to share with our audience? Because that seems to be a topic of conversation today, and just the rights of the employee, if you will.
Absolutely. That is a very important topic. So I do represent individuals to help them to get their unemployment benefits. I help them with discrimination and harassment issues and retaliation before administrative agencies like the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the Illinois Department of Human Rights. And what's important there, I think, for people to understand that there may not be a quick resolution to their legal issues. So they have to be patient and understand that it is a process. And I enjoy working with clients who do understand that.
Okay. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's great. It seems like, first of all, your specialties are very well-rounded and certainly giving back to the community, whether it's our veterans or an employment case. Is there any, you know, down the road, so growing the practice, what other things are going to be in store for you in the next 12 to 24 months?
Well, actually just focusing on giving back to the community, serving on hopefully boards is something that I'm interested in. And then I also hope to be trained as a mediator to help mediate some of those employment matters that I currently represent clients in.
Sure, sure. That's wonderful. So with that, Sonia, I know we just have a few minutes left. If there are any parting words that you'd like to share with our audience, it was, first of all, such a pleasure to have you on. We look forward to your contributions in the Chamber of Commerce, and we welcome you. We're really excited to have you and wish you a prosperous future.
Well, thank you so much for that, Maureen. I'm really excited to join the Chamber, and it seems that the Chamber offers a lot for its members and really provides a lot of opportunities for you to give back to the community. So I'm really excited about being able to provide the services and support to the Chamber.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we thank you for being on the show and look forward to you at our next big event.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome my next guest, Beth Ruff, who comes to us from the Tinley Chamber of Commerce. She is our events coordinator. Beth, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
How you doing today?
I'm doing very well. It's very nice outside, so I'm excited to just kind of introduce a little bit about myself and just some of the upcoming events that we can look forward to at the Chamber.
Excellent. So Beth, we are thrilled, first of all, about your position here at the Chamber, but let's talk about you for a minute. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I actually have a very interesting background, just kind of how I got my interest in events. I graduated from Columbia College in Chicago. My background there was in arts, entertainment, and media management. My concentration and my love was in music business. So a lot of my experience, it originally started there. I had a couple different internships. I worked with Live Nation as a production runner, so I got to work actually at some shows at the amphitheater in Tinley Park.
Fun.
Yeah, so that was a good time. We got to deal with a lot of different artist riders and like the fun requests that artists have. I also worked with a couple of different festivals, North Coast Music Festival and Riot Fest, so just kind of like a production intern. Just that's where I kind of got like a taste of the event industry in general. And then shortly after that, most of my experience came from a music booking agency based out of Chicago. And so I was just an assistant to two agents who were out in LA. And so basically what we were doing is they have their roster of clients that they would book at shows. Once it was confirmed, they would send all the details to me. I would deal with artist contracts. We deal with basically tour announces, artwork approvals. And so that was a lot of, though, administrative work. There wasn't a whole lot of experience of just actually like being on site, interacting with people. It's kind of everything that needed to be done prior to the event actually happening.
Behind the scenes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And so that's why, too, I wanted to kind of jump into a little bit more of like the event production side. So just actually this past October, one of my friends, she works with the JCs over in Kankakee. So they were actually putting on an event in October. It was like their Haunted Social Extravaganza, which was actually a community event to kind of just raise awareness for like autism and like, raise money for that. And so I actually was asked to be the booking coordinator. So I booked all of like the musical talent. We had fire performers come out. It was a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I kind of got a taste of things that way. And then I was looking around, and that's where I came across the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce. And I saw that they were looking for an event coordinator. So I thought this would be like a great experience to kind of get my foot in the door and just gain more experience along the way.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
you've been with the Chamber for how long now?
I started in March.
Okay.
So right before the Brew and Vine. So which that was fun, but it was a little overwhelming just
Yes.
because I was kind of walking literally into it.
Yes.
And I was just kind of going with the flow. Like I was almost a floater, just I know I was following like Bob around, and of course Jackie was there. So it was great. It was good.
What a great event to be introduced to.
Yes.
So let's tell our viewers about your role here as the events coordinator.
Yes, sure. So some of the things that I got to work on, we have our golf outing. That's always in July. That was sold out. It's a lot of fun for golfers. We have breakfast. There's going to be lunch on the course, and then we have an open bar with a dinner buffet. And it's a long day. During dinner, we end up having we had over 50 raffle prizes that were confirmed that we passed out. So that was a lot of fun. Good prizes from all of our great sponsors. And then in August, we always have a bag crawl, which is where it's held along Oak Park Avenue in Tinley Park. Yes, lots of fun if you haven't been before. Recommend looking into it. So we have different host locations. You basically can toss bags, you accumulate points, and you win prizes at the end. So
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So being part of that and all of these events, there's tremendous planning involved, and your role is not only all hands on deck, so to speak, but you're coordinating with our businesses for
Yes.
sponsorship. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Tell us a little bit about what that entails. Are you meeting with them on site? Are you calling them? How is that working?
A lot of the time, too, just to get like the initial conversation started, it usually starts with a phone call or an email, just where you're kind of, I prefer to do email just because I know a lot of people are always on the go. It's easier to kind of just get all the information out there that you're trying to explain, send any sort of like descriptions of the event, prices, that sort of thing. But it's nice too because with sponsorship opportunities, we always have a wide variety of spots that you can purchase. So you can either do, just a little bit of money or a bigger amount in different ways to get your company exposed out there.
That's great. No, and I can personally speak to that. I recently sponsored a board for the bag crawl, and it is another benefit to being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So You've got a great, it sounds like a really fun background, first of
Yes,
all, with the music and everything else. So what's next? What's coming?
Yeah, so we have one it's going to be a lot of fun. It's actually new this year. I know previous years they did a Rocktoberfest, but this year we're actually going to have an Oktoberfest. And when I say that, I actually do mean an authentic German festival.
Aha.
A lot of people get confused when you say Oktoberfest because the message has kind of been changed over the years. But our plan, it's going to be Friday, September 29th, September 30th, and October 1st.
Okay.
Yes, and so it's going to be free. It's all ages. It's going to be held at the 80th Avenue Metro train station.
Okay.
Yes, and then we're also going to have a carnival. There's going to be authentic German food. We're going to have vendors. We're also going to have Oompa bands, so German bands, which is actually what I have been in the process of currently booking and confirming, which seems like that's going to be very fun.
Yes.
So it's a different kind of style. So it's something we're very excited to kind of just bring to the community and get them, of course, lots of beer as well. I forgot to mention that.
Oh my
But
gosh.
all the authentic German beer. I know we have some of our Tinley Park brewers who are going to be specially brewing a beer for the festival.
Oh,
So that's going to
fantastic.
be a lot of fun too. Something to look forward to, and we hope to see everyone out there.
That's good. So we're talking the 29th, 30th, and October 1st.
Correct.
What kind of hours are we looking
Sure.
at?
So Friday, it's going to be from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Saturday, it's going to be from 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then Sunday, it's just from 1 to 6.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so there'll be music, rides, food.
Yes.
And 80th Avenue.
Metro, train station.
So actually, it'll be able to host quite a few.
Yes, it's actually going to be a good amount of space that we're going to have there. So we're also going to have a ceremonial keg tapping to kick off the event.
Is that right? And when will that take
Yes,
place?
I believe that one's going to be Saturday. Is going to be the main day.
The main-
So I'm assuming it's going to be then.
Oh, how
But
exciting.
Yes, and we're also going to have an official website and everything. So please, check out our chamber website, and that will be able to direct you to more information, even if you are a member and you want to sign up and be involved or even just volunteer for the event. We're always looking for people who are interested.
Right,
So.
in a family fun event,
Yes,
which sounds
definitely.
really nice. 3 days, so great. Well, you've got a pretty fun job going on here, I think.
I mean, it
huh?
has its days,
Yeah.
but it can be stressful, but it's definitely rewarding.
It's a
So
lot of
it's
work.
fun.
It's a
Yes.
lot of work.
It's really fun to just kind of bring everyone together and just kind of see like the effect that it has when you can bring so many people together on a common interest or just a
Right.
common activity. So
Right.
it's exciting.
That's excellent, Beth. So up after that, I know the year doesn't end.
Yes,
So we're
yes.
looking at Oktoberfest at the end of September, beginning of October.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
So then we can go into our trim or tree, which is going to be, we have about 30 trees that are set up around Oak Park Avenue, and we have a different sponsor that can sponsor every tree.
Okay.
Trees go up in November, they come down around January, so they're up for a good amount of time. And then sponsors also have the option where they can decorate their trees, and what's kind of fun is sometimes they'll theme it out to what their company is. Like ornaments that are similar to whatever like they represent.
To their business.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Or then two, if a sponsor is not interested in doing that, we also have the option. We'll reach out to like local Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops, and they'll come out and decorate the trees.
Oh, that
So it's a
sounds-
good activity to kind of get everyone in the holiday spirits. And
Right, right. And to close out another exciting year at the Chamber of
Yes,
Commerce.
definitely. We've got lots of exciting things coming up.
Yes, and you're busy. No,
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Very good. So Beth, we have about 1 minute left.
Okay.
It goes by so fast. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your position with the Chamber of
Thank you.
Commerce. And we're really thrilled. We're already seeing the results. It's just such a great community to be part of. If there is anything that you'd like to share with our audience, and again, we thank you and we look forward to having you back on the
Yeah,
show very
thanks.
soon. And to a really prosperous Oktoberfest.
Oh, yes, of course. I would just encourage everyone where any kind of opportunity that you can just get out there, be involved in your community, and just kind of interact with others. And you should just experience lots of different events out there because it's just something fun and refreshing.
Well, thanks again for being on the show, and to our viewers, to find out about all three guests and to get involved in the Tinley Chamber of Commerce, we wish you to call us at 708-532-5700 or visit our website at thetinleychamber.org. It's always a pleasure, and that's a wrap for tonight, folks. We'll see you next month.